Hey Star Trek fans, welcome to This Week in Trek, a roundup of the week's Star Trek news and releases. It's been pretty quiet on the Trek news front for the past couple of weeks, but we do have a few stories to report on this week. So without further ado, let's get to the news.
You're the captain of the most important space station in the entire Federation. You're news.
In less than a month, the annual New York Comic Con takes place at the Javits Convention Center, and Star Trek will be making its presence known there. Two upcoming Trek projects will feature in the Star Trek Universe panel held on Saturday, October 19th, which puts it less than 1 week before the premiere of Lower Deck's fifth and final season on Paramount+. The first project highlighted by the panel is, of course, Season 5 of Lower Decks, and producers and cast from the show will be in attendance, although we don't yet know who from the cast will be on the panel. The second project featured in the presentation will be the upcoming Star Trek Section 31 film starring Michelle Yeoh. Once again, cast and producers will be in attendance without an announcement of who will actually be there. My money is on a release date revelation for Section 31, as so far we only know that it is coming to Paramount Plus sometime next year. Attendees of the New York Comic Con can take in the Star Trek Universe panel at the Empire Stage on Saturday, October 19th from 2:30 to 4 p.m. Eastern. We will, of course, bring you more information about the event as we learn it. Filming for Star Trek Strange New World's upcoming third season wrapped back in May, and it appears that the cast and crew will be back in Toronto to work on Season 4 earlier than expected. Paul Wesley, James T. Kirk in Strange New Worlds, has revealed that he will be back in front of the cameras in February of next year, thanks to a new interview with The Hollywood Reporter. This is earlier than the expected spring 2025 start of production, as revealed by Anson Mount earlier this year. I'm very much looking forward to Season 3 of Strange New Worlds, and I'm really excited that they'll be back in front of the cameras sooner rather than later for Season 4, perhaps avoiding a repeat of the huge gap between the cliffhanger at the end of Season 2 and the beginning of Season 3. Granted, of course, much of that was due to the labor disagreement that led to twin writers and actors strikes, but hopefully nothing like that will stand in the way of future seasons of Strange New Worlds. And finally, some sad news for fans of the Star Trek Explorer magazine. According to Trek Central, issue number 14 of the magazine will be its last. The current issue that recently came out is number 12, with number 13 expected later this fall. Issue 14 is due to be released in December. This is an unfortunate loss to the Trek fan community. I myself just recently renewed my subscription to Explorer, and I've been enjoying the articles as well as the short fiction that features in each issue from some of the best writers in the Trek universe. I will definitely be very sad to see the magazine go, and I really hope that some sort of replacement will come along to take its place in the near future. Unfortunately, print media seems to be a dying beast, and sadly, Star Trek Explorer is just the latest victim.
I never really cared for science fiction. I guess I just didn't get it.
We have a number of new Star Trek releases this week, starting with 2 books coming out on Tuesday, September 24th. First up is a paperback adaptation of 2022's Star Trek Picard audio drama No Man's Land by Kirsten Beyer and Mike Johnson. Tuesday is the official release date, although it has been seen in the wild in bookstores already. Here's the back cover blurb from Simon & Schuster. Star Trek No Man's Land picks up right after the action-packed Season 1 conclusion of Star Trek Picard. While Raffi and 7 of 9 are enjoying some much-needed R&R in Raffi's remote hideaway, their downtime is interrupted by an urgent cry for help. A distant, beleaguered planet has enlisted the Fenris Rangers to save an embattled evacuation effort. As Raffi and 7 team up to rescue a mysteriously ageless professor whose infinity-shaped talisman has placed him in the deadly sights of a vicious Romulan warlord, they take tentative steps to explore the attraction depicted in the final moments of Picard Season 1. Based on the hit audio original, fans can now read this riveting script with fan-favorite characters. Those of you wanting to pick this up should know that because this is a paperback version of the audio drama, it basically reads like a script rather than a traditional novel. Also out on Tuesday is a re-release of Volume 2 of the current ongoing Star Trek flagship comic series. A paperback edition of Star Trek Volume 2, The Red Path, complements the paperback release of Volume 1, Godshock, from a couple of weeks back, so that readers can have the complete collection in paperback. Here's the synopsis from IDW. The second arc of the critically acclaimed Star Trek flagship comic series continues with Benjamin Sisko's quest to stop celestial genocide, now available in gorgeous softcover format with new cover. Sisko returns to Deep Space Nine, and it's the family reunion we've all been waiting for. Or is it? As Sisko reckons with the sins of his past, the Theseus travels to a mysterious corner of Cardassian space to uncover the secrets of the prophets and learn how far the Red Path have infiltrated the galaxy. In the follow-up to Star Trek Volume 1, Godshock, Volume 2 collects Star Trek issues 7 to 10 and the 2023 Star Trek Annual by writers Collin Kelly and Jackson Lanzing, with artists Mike Feehan and Rachel Stott. And out on Wednesday, September 25th, are the next 2 issues of the 2 current ongoing Star Trek comic series, Star Trek and Star Trek Defiant. First up, Star Trek number 24, the 6th and final part of the Pleroma story arc. Here's the synopsis. Reality has literally begun collapsing around Captain Sisko and the USS Theseus crew as they race through space and, one by one, witness the gods be annihilated by the new God Killer. The detonation of a God-scale bomb at the Pleroma started a chain reaction, beginning the unraveling of time and space. But the Theseus crew are Starfleet officers ready to step up to the plate and boldly take on the unknown, and their captain is a prophet ready to embrace his godhood for the sake of the universe. Or else. Star Trek number 24 is written by Jackson Lanzing and Collin Kelly, with art by Megan Levins. Wednesday also sees the release of issue 19 of Star Trek Defiant, with part 3 of the Stars of Home story arc, and featuring some more familiar faces. Miles O'Brien and his trusty hollow helm set course for the planet Antara as Romulan forces prepare to besiege the population, with Worf, B'Elanna, and Ro among them. A menacing Romulan blockade stands between him and his friends, but as he braces to brave the Romulans alone, matters are further complicated when an old friend, none other than Dr. Julian Bashir, delivers an urgent message from Section 31. Meanwhile, on Romulus, Commander Sela and Spock uncover a dark secret that General Revo is willing to kill to keep secret. Star Trek Defiant number 19 is written by Christopher Cantwell, with art by Angel Nzweta. And that's everything for This Week in Trek. Thank you all so much for joining me this week. Thank you especially to the Patreon supporters for helping me to bring these videos to you. I hope you are all doing well and have an amazing week. Join me again next week for another edition of This Week in Trek, hopefully jam-packed with a ton of new Star Trek news to go along with the new Trek book releases we're expecting next week. Until then, as always, live long and prosper.